Hi everyone, I'm Two-Faced Teller, and this is Growing My Grandpa. I don't know if I can get this edited fast enough, but we're gonna try, you know? But this game is apparently like 2 to 3 hours long, so I'll try to get things as fast as I can. Oh, and I changed a few things, like I changed the color of the mouse, of the cursor to be a little bit lighter because it was a little too dark. I was also thinking of just making like a little ghosty hand, but I'm like, no, I'll keep the like skin tone look. I took out the effect over the screen because I didn't like it. It was kind of gross. Like too pixely and it was moving and stuff, and I'm like, no, we don't need that. Would you like to view the tutorial regarding basic? Yes, please. Please read. This game is designed to be played with a mouse. The input required for you is based around clicking the mouse buttons. The right mouse button will change the cursor's image and function. Only when pointing indicated by the extended index finger can you, the player, interact with certain menu buttons and prompts. Please click below in the pointing mode to continue. The second cursor mode is indicated by the cursor's image featuring a hand extending all fingers. This mode concerns interacting with objects inside the world, mainly picking up an object and moving it into another position. To continue, please pick up the piece of trash on the right and place it in the trash can on the left. Remember, the right mouse button will change the cursor's mode, but when holding something, the mode cannot be changed until the cursor is now holding something. I had to change my desk layout because ants have been irritating the hell out of me, and now my screen is like way further back. I have to completely turn around almost. Click. Put in. Okay. That's it. There will be many situations on Growing My Grandpa that will require you to pick up things, place things, grab things, or give things. Don't be afraid to experiment and keep an open mind about using your hand. Please click the button below to continue. Remember, menu buttons must be clicked in the pointer mode. In order to expedite the cleaning process, you can use digits 1, 2, and 3 on your keyboard's number row at the top of the keyboard to reposition the trash can below. Try moving the can to the right of the screen with 3 in order to continue. Well done. Please click continue to move on. A variety of video options can be changed. That's what I did. And yeah, I already did that. Hovering over the small question mark in the top, damn, I can barely see that. Top right provides an overlay related to available configuration options. Try hovering over it. This will be available at all times during the game. That's it. Thus ends the tutorial. I hope you enjoyed Growing My Grandpa. Infinite thanks to my patrons and supporters for believing in me and my work. Yames? Week 1. I excuse Andrane during question mark Adrian, but spelled different? During music class today and spoke with her about her recent string of demerits. It was our first time meeting outside of our quarterly evaluations, and I believe it went well. I can certainly understand Mrs. Richardson's classroom's observations concerning Adrian's emotional state. She was, of course, intensely shy when we first met. As I understand it, she is similarly withdrawn in her classroom activities and only speaks or acts when she absolutely must. Some things she simply will not do. Instead of participating in mandatory group activities, she will sit alone and accept that she will receive a demerit. Before the meeting, I read Mrs. Richardson's parent-teacher report, which allowed me to estimate some about Adrian's home life. The parents are well educated and come from a prestigious background, but they lack time to properly nurture Adrian. She's often alone, and when she is not, the parents seem to not understand the importance of warmth and affirmation when dealing with someone so young. Having 2 parents of this reserved and icy temperament exacts an inhibition in a child. The child's imagination is subdued, but only ostensibly, for it eventually finds its way into regular life. I surmise that I would be able to reach out to Adrian by way of make-believe. That's a terrifying-looking child. How are you liking your new house? You've told me you used to live close by, but it still can be a big adjustment, a new room, a new school. The basement. I like that. The basement? Yeah. Well, there's a lot of cool stuff. Mom and Dad sent me down there. Your mom and dad made you go? Yeah, but there's lots of cool stuff. Oh, that's not why they sent me down there, though. Why did they send you down there? Fighting. They were fighting, shouting. I came in to help and they shouted at me. They said go clean up downstairs, so I went. That sounds tough. Do they fight a lot? No, well, It's alright, Adrian. Maybe you can tell me more about the basement instead. Okay. Well, it was weird at first, the stuff down there, but cool. I found something living, sort of. That's very interesting, Adrian. Please tell me more. By indulging her in her fantasies and stories, I was able to glean more of an understanding of Adrian's anxieties surrounding her home and parents. The symbols of Adrian's stories seem to carry their own traumatic weight, and her exploration of the basement may very well be a vehicle for the conveyance of her anxiety. Whatever might come of our next meeting, whether she will engage in similar make-believe, I will set down her story here. Adrian's story begins with her delving into the basement with a trash receptacle and the goal of cleaning up. She discovered one of the walls was covered in plastic bags. She went to investigate, intent on tearing away whatever they covered. Ew. How do I move? Oh. Trash bags. Upon removing the plastic trash bags from the wall, she noticed their interior lining was covered in glass. Like a window? I offered. No, she said like a mirror. Reflecting inward towards the animal they covered. I gently asked her what exactly this animal was. Here is where the material reality of the story took a turn for the explicitly fantastic and imaginary. Upon her discovery of it at her gaze, it grew or extended its shaggy-haired self, hair like the fur of a dog, I offered. No, she said. Not the fur of a dog nor the hair on her head. It grew out towards her, the animal's hair reaching out. It was hard, standing almost straight like the hair on a brush. A bristle, I offered. Yes, she said. She was very afraid at first, but then very curious. I asked her what else was in the room, more things hidden away, she said, things of Grandpa's as well. First she found a hidden passage under the stairs. Inside were strange dolls, magic objects, naked, faceless figures. I heard these cryptic utterances and merely nodded. In order to keep the game of make-believe going, I only pressed for details where I thought necessary. The faceless dolls could be a simple metaphor for the anonymity she feels in her own home. The hidden passage, I am unsure of what to make of that. The revealing of the concealed seems to be thematic in her fantasy. The door under the stairs is but one example. The darkness of the shadowy corner unnerves you. You cannot explore here without some form of light. Grab. Trash pile, but I can't grab any trash. Once she removed the panel and found the magical hidden passage, she was very specific about what she took. She found a magic book, a magic doll, a photo of her late grandpa, and magic glue. A slouching doll, its materials rough and coarse. picking up garbage. Ooh, glue. All-purpose glue. Elmer's glue. Not sponsored. Papers crudely bound together to form a book. Eurasian steppe shamanism and the what? The fusiform gyrus and interdisciplinary study in sympathetic magic, a dissertation, Jacob Hart. Oh wait, I want to read that shit. Photo of your late grandfather. On the reverse side of the photograph, there is more text. Good luck on your trip to the Urals. Stay warm. Mr. PhD. All clean. The space will not be dirty again until next week. I interrupted to ask what she did with these magical, mysterious materials. Grow Grandpa, she explained plainly, and then, without missing a beat, she continued on with her story. Feeling this was a potent symbol, I stopped her again to ask what she meant. Somewhat puzzled, I did not understand immediately, she explained slowly. Grandpa lives in the cage in the other room, the cage behind the door. They grew people in the cage. Hastily written note. I have repeatedly called your homes to no avail, and so I am forced to leave this here for you all. I found William sitting in the corner of the enclosed area, seeming severely concussed. Whiskers was gone in none of its usual hiding places. I immediately suspected the worst. The project thus must be suspended for now. I am leaving up the usual mirrored coverings we use to keep the anthropoidic void sealed. I have done my best to lock up everything on such short notice. It is a hasty fix, but it will require some time to find a more permanent remedy. I am honestly hoping you do not find this note, as I intend to lock the house down too. I intend to race off to you to retrieve the lockbox keys. Do not worry about William's key. It and the rest of his equipment is almost certainly deep within the Whiskers now. I pray you do not enter this room. No matter how it may appear, William cannot be helped and is only being kept alive as a means of continuing predation on the rest of us. I will say once again, no matter what state you may encounter William in, he cannot be helped. I have sympathy for the young man, I truly do, but I found on his person several photos of his late sister, which would imply certain risks he knew he was taking. Our extant research materials have now become possible liabilities, either criminal or professional in nature, so I have stashed them away. I believe I let you all know how I might do this if we were ever to experience an event such as this. I hope you all remember what I told you so long then. Beyond the door in the room, the cage was hidden, concealed in another cloak of inward-facing mirrors. I really hope there was no other words on that thing that I did not read because I clicked the wrong button. A hidden cage lined with mirrors. It is strange, almost poetic, the elaborate fantasy of self-reflection, concealment, captivity. At the cage, she finally cast her spell. But it was confusing, she confided at first. She took the magic doll, the magic glue, and the photo of her grandpa. And she combined them, and she wished very hard. I can only assume in this fantasy that next her wish would come true. In what child's story would it not? I'll take some glue. Particular human representation. Grandpa, generic human figure. This funky doll. And my all-purpose glue, baby. A tangible symbol of intention and desire. She put Grandpa in the cage, assuming that was part of the ritual. She was not clear on how it worked. What precise instructions she could glean from her grandfather's magic book was complicated by her reading comprehension. She wished with all her heart, and then she told me she waited a while for anything to happen, and after that she began to cry. I cried really hard, she said. I wanted Grandpa to be back. I wanted my parents to stop being so mean. And it hurt me. It hurt me wish for Grandpa to come back, for my parents to be different. I could feel it through the walls, and it felt me through the air. I asked her what exactly she meant. She could only repeat what she said. By this time, lunch was almost over. I said goodbye to Adrian, and she left to rejoin her class. I was left to consider our conversation. I believe the storytelling strategy I have employed was not unfruitful, but I must probe deeper if I can. Although I can be sure of nothing I interpret, the impressions I get may begin to help me get an idea of the right questions to ask. Knowledge you acquired this week has given you access to certain topics or keywords you can discuss with Grandpa. You gained the conversation topic wish. Consider discussing this with Grandpa when this emerges. Or when Grandpa emerges, sorry. You have also gained the following keyword. Shell. I met again with Adrienne in order to address her emotional outbursts in the past few weeks. It is our second time meeting, and while it is standard practice to have multiple sessions with a troubled student, as I assembled a report for the counseling department, I could not help but think, as we sat down in my office, that Adrienne already seemed to show a remarkable change in self-esteem and confidence, and perhaps my and Mrs. Richardson's estimation of her as emotionally disturbed was erroneous. The paralyzing shyness and withdrawn attitude Adrienne possessed last week was not entirely diminished, but she seemed to hold herself differently this week. However, this only lasted as long as our conversation pertained to initial introductory pleasantries. When I began once again asking about her parents, her feelings regarding her new school and her new home, she quickly lost what new confidence she had gathered up and withdrew again into herself. So once again, I partook in some collaborative make-believe, but this time I was aided by the fact that I had managed to do some research into Adrienne's grandfather, and had some insight into what she might actually be finding in the basement. Now, this may be overstepping my bounds some as a school counseling caseworker, but this was all in the service of making Adrienne comfortable and happy in this learning environment. In any case, I was able to dig up information regarding the grandfather by inquiring at the university in town. Not that I make it a habit of sleuthing, but I had a suspicion the grandfather was a professor there, or at least some sort of researcher, due to the fact that the newly constructed laboratory on the campus I drive by every day bears his name in memorial. He was some sort of anthropologist or linguist or neuroscientist. I did not have to dig that deep before the scope of his work became dizzying, and I ran up against the limits of my undergraduate education. But back to the make-believe. What is your grandpa like? Is he a smart man? Not anymore, but I'm teaching him. So he's grown a good deal then. You've been feeding him well? Yeah, he's getting bigger, but he has a lot of room in his cage. Is he still behind the bars? Yeah, well, he might be able to climb out eventually. There's this vent in the ceiling. Well, perhaps if he climbs out, I could meet him someday. Ooh, no thanks, I'm good. I'm like looking at what's in this room, and if Grandpa gets out, he's definitely going into that closet or whatever that is. Yeah, maybe, but he's not ready to leave. He can't take care of himself. I have to feed him, pick up after him. Ah, you store the food in your lunchbox? That's nice of you to share. He can almost talk. You cannot speak with him? He doesn't have a mouth, sort of. But how do you feed him? He has a mouth on the outside, on his shell, or the stuff that is his skin. I'm a little confused. Maybe you can go through a typical day with your grandpa. Okay. I asked her to explain how exactly she goes about growing her grandpa, and Adrienne began another tale. According to Adrienne, in the week that had passed, much had changed in the basement. There was more trash and more shit. You should go see Grandpa first. Fine. The hairy thing that was here before is gone. Oh. Note on an experiment. Can examine this in detail later at the study corner. Oh, I guess I'll just pick it up because I did it in the wrong order. It was scary at first, she said. The way he moved, the way the dull skin covered him. I wanted to interject this somehow seemed inappropriate, but I kept listening. When I look at him, she continued, when I think about him, he grows and moves. It's like he's growing for me. So he's growing bigger now, I asked. Yes, she said, bigger every day. Grandpa, what funny What a funny look you have. This begins the actual growing part of growing your grandpa. Beneath the doll's burlap skin, the follicles knit together what resembles a proper person, your grandpa. You are in charge of this cognitive development and diet until it is able to sustain itself. Currently, you're observing Grandpa. Please click the arrow back button below for a brief tutorial of your duties as caretaker. Here we can see a variety of options regarding growing your grandpa. Highlighted in red are objectives related to feeding and teaching Grandpa. Important messages regarding Grandpa's recent activity will also appear here. Feed Grandpa. Teach Grandpa. You'll need to find it food and learning material before you can move on to the next week. Some foods will make Grandpa happy, others merely content. Some food will make Grandpa disgusted to the point of nausea. Learning material is also scattered throughout the basement. Seek out vocabulary cards intended to help teach English and basic anthropoidic concept formation. The options highlighted in red are related to navigating around Grandpa's enclosure. The Go to Grandpa option will let you perform all actions directly related to Grandpa: feeding, teaching, observing, etc. Accessing the study corner will let you go over any document to pick up as the weeks go by. It's a good idea to learn about the work of the people who last occupied this space. Accessing the kitchen corner will let you search for food in the old refrigerator and prepare food for Grandpa if need be. The help will replay this tutorial. Save button will save your current progress. You can only have one save file at a time, so if you have saved data, you will be asked if it's okay to overwrite it. The exit button will take you back to the main menu. More buttons may or may not appear depending on your development of Grandpa, so watch out for them. One final note, take care to explore the basement at your leisure. However, due to the entropic nature of clutter and trash, different weeks may allow you to find things you have not previously discovered. Good luck. Cool. I'm gonna go look at everything inside here first. Slouching under the weight of rot and refuse. Bunch of crap that I gotta throw away. Keeps dirtying this place. No one even comes down here except for me. Also have to go to the study corner so I could go read things, but we'll check that later. It looks edible. Grandpa might like this. Blueberry. I don't think there's anything else in here. Top drawer. Oh my god. Ew. I just realized a little doll face. I'm gonna only feed Grandpa the good stuff. All clean. An account of an acquisition. Before we began, he had us all cover our faces completely. An earthen pot was... and on the inside, as we stole brief glances at it, we could see the interior was inlaid with mirrors. Some pieces of dough, spoiled food, chicken feet, keeping it content. Spoiled food? The keeper gestured towards a small bag where the food composted and told us to be careful not to feed it any meat. It asked if the rotting food was enough to sustain it, how it might get nutrients from any of this. But you just fed it meat. There was raw chicken in it, wasn't there? The keeper regarded me seriously and said it did not matter what it was fed. The act of feeding itself is what mattered. The act of feeding flesh is another act. However, he then gave me another series of grave warnings regarding not keeping any animal-derived foods near where I might be keeping it. So no food, no meats. Can't do anything about that. Something about this painting looks strange. Well, I can't make anything out, so search. Folder full of radiographic images. Every day I clean, and every day it's messy. Fiberglass insulation. This isn't really food. Grandpa might eat it, however. I will never... Waste here smells particularly strong. Might be useful in the construction of magic symbols. A simple paper doll. No. I can't even look here anymore. Trash. The only good thing about cleaning up trash is the treasures. Hello. Vocabulary card. Teach Grandpa this word to read the notes of past educators. Corroded battery. This isn't really food. Something appears to be growing from the wall. You take a closer look. Ugh! A pulsating sac. The slimy membrane that is its skin seems to contain something. It might be better to be opened with a... You might be able to open it with a blade. It's dark in here. I want to go to the study corner first. Look over documents. The magic book. The impetus of this research was the recognition of a particular pattern in fragments of documents relating to magic and magico-religious practices. Numerous sources were drawn from commentaries on laws related to the banning of sorcery and necromancy, compilations of folk charms relating to love spells, hagiographs of saints, and their encounters with devils. The list spans many centuries and is a great distance from the Levant to the Khazar Khanate to the border of the modern nation-states of Russia and Kazakhstan today. So we're doing some crazy, probably like necromancy type thing, because the assistant, I think, had pictures of his late sister, so definitely necromancy. From this paper trail arose a consistent account about a certain form of magic relating to the binding of demons to a sorcerer's will. A demon called the Heaven of Needles, or the Angel of Needles, oh no, was known to be kept best by shamanic keepers or wards who suffer from face blindness, prosopagnosia, whether by birth or through development causes like a stroke or head injury. It was known to be extremely effective but terribly dangerous, so much so that it became outlawed several times and was generally a popular scapegoat relating to unexpected death. This nexus of magical religious meaning-making, sorcery regarding human-related desires, and the history and science of neurological disorders related to the fusiform gyrus is where the subject of this dissertation will reside. I will outline further and then analyze the historical sources I mentioned previously, then I will go into the neurology of mystic and magical religious experiences. After that, I will detail my ongoing correspondence with a resident of the Ural Mountain region who is an expert folklorist and keeper of traditions he claims have been passed down through his extended family for generations. So we are growing a demon. I see how it is. Hastily reads a note. We read that. Orientation note. Samples exposure to some of our neuronal activity is unavoidable. However, the speed at which its desirous yield is produced can be dampened by several precautions regarding libidinal and emotional urges. Keep conversation not related to lab work to a minimum. If you begin to suspect you are developing attachments to your colleagues, contact me as soon as possible. You will be removed from the experiment. For the sake of university policy and the health of any future career you hope to have, you will abide by the non-disclosure contract you have signed. Do not break the anthropomorphic vacuum without my prior consultation and approval. Any anthropoid forms brought into the enclosure area must not be left unattended. When not in dormancy, the sample will attempt to take anthropoid shells. Please see shell notes for more on that. Ritual behavior with the sample trading bargaining will result in dismissal from the project. The precise mechanism of the exchange of symbols and gifts required for a requested desirous yield is not known, and even then anecdotal accounts of success end in violent death. Regarding growth cycles, every time Whiskers regenerates and leaves dormancy, it is to be logged as a new propagation. So I think there's one that did escape. That must have been the assistant. The sample's bodily existence cannot be, i.e. a part cannot be cut from the whole, so there can only be one living propagation. Propagations are to be terminated after 5 weeks. Any further development puts us at risk. Termination procedures will be posted and followed with extreme care. With all of that out of the way, I want to welcome you to the project. I look forward to working with you, Dr. Hart. I could never be a scientist for this type of thing. I'd be the worst scientist, honestly. Okay, I already read this one. That was about the food. Radiographs, but I can't look at them. Really? Okay. I don't know what the point in that was then. Paper doll and the vocabulary. Educational posters. Oh! I could throw them away. Fuck this. A set of procedures regarding disposal. Read this now. The researcher will seal off the enclosure bars, ensuring minimal gas leakage during the later fumigating process, then retrieve the burn barrel and place it near the enclosure. Allow at least 48 hours of time where the current growth cycle experiences no human-related stimuli. Do not enter the enclosure area nor any part of the basement. Ideally, you will not be on the grounds at all. After 48 hours, 2 researchers will enter the basement wearing their assigned mirror mask, mirror apron, and powered air purifying respirator. The researcher will use the vent system to fumigate the enclosure area. Wait 30 minutes and then use the fan system to ventilate the enclosure. Keep the fans running during steps 3 through 4. Re-enter the enclosure area wearing your assigned mirror mask and aprons. The organism may or may not be in complete dormancy. It is not in full dormancy. If it is not, be assured that its capacity to act against you will be greatly diminished. With your assigned powered drills, quickly remove any enclosure bars needed to access the organism. Put them aside for later reinstallation. Put the organism into the burn barrel and incinerate the organism thoroughly. Wait for any smoke to be properly cleared by the fan system. Turn off the fans. One researcher will retrieve the nucleus from the ash and place it in the mirror box. The other researcher will shift the ash and place any other substantial remains in the biohazard bin in the room outside of the enclosure area. The bin is locked for safety purposes. The code is 323245. I'm gonna write that down so I don't have to remember it. Where is my pen? Was that, I'm gonna just call it safety bin. The researcher will fill out a termination form and leave it for Dr. Hart. Ooh, new word, biohazard bin. Oh my god, there's so much to look at. I wonder if I have to look at all, like, search through everything every week. No wonder it takes so long. It was said to pass from one family of steep people to another, but pressed on its ultimate origin somewhere to the south, coiled in a bowl covered in incantations, buried upside down by a graveyard, a common late antiquity demon trap. The keeper, an elderly man in failing health, was ready to expound on and on about the dangers of the organism, but when I asked more pointed questions about the history of his acquisition, I was given curt responses that had a way of circling back to vague warnings. Scientists messing with ancient things. Looks edible. Cashews. Oh good, we found more food to give him. We got cashews and blueberries. Not exactly filling, but hopefully the kitchen will have something more. Grandpa. Oh, I forgot I could move this around. Remove the taped down fabric to reveal the cabinet's wooden bottom. Research participants, please take note. Each growth from a cycle does not require a shell, but you may find the sample will often try and seize on something somewhat flexible it can grow onto, along with any desirous yield it may generate. Or else it will move from one shell to the next as it outgrows them. In the small amount of time I have spent with it in preparation, I have noticed it tends toward human forms. However, we should keep a tight lid on the anthropoidic seal in order to be cautious before we begin to experiment with exposing it long-term to anthropoid stimuli. To my colleagues, I don't mean to be overly severe in tone, but Dr. Hart's work is very important and the material we are working with is potentially very dangerous. I'll be handing out a copy of this note as a reminder to everyone. I'm not trying to single any particular person out. We all have misconceptions about the nature of this project from time to time. With that out of the way, here are some things to keep in mind. The act of growth must be thoroughly terminated via the correct procedures at the very least 4 weeks after dormancy is interrupted. Oh my god, we are on week 2 right now. This is... It doesn't matter what you've done or haven't done regarding tests or procedures or how much the anthropoidic vacuum has been disrupted. We are not ready to go beyond 4 weeks at this point. A step-by-step guide to termination has been posted by the enclosure wall. Please, please, please do not place educational posters over this posting. Do not disrupt the anthropoidic vacuum without Dr. Hart's prior consultation and approval. In case of any emergency where the vacuum is disrupted, put on your equipment and begin the lockdown procedure. Make an extensive note of when and how the breach occurred. If you find the habitat empty, page Dr. Hart immediately, but do not attempt to speak with anyone else. This thing can get very smart. I'm sure you're all well aware from the stories we heard on our acquisition trip. The greatest caution should be used when dealing with a potential aggressive mimicry scenario. Please seek me out if you have any more questions, Willam. Yeah, I have to come back through here to check everything. You slip the radiograph images you found onto the machine's display. What is that? Can't see. Oh, turn on the power, silly. Oh, that is a skull. Day 19 after dormancy. Vacuum broken. Yes, term at 21 days. It looks like this is where it attached. Intriguing results with regard to the mimic hypothesis. A participant entered a sealed chamber adjacent to Whiskers' growth cycle number 21, which had been freed from the anthropoidic vacuum. Constructed quite economically from plastic and broken mirrors, the first propagation's original earthenware vacuum was shattered during the move-in. Between the two, there was a semi-opaque glass panel that allowed observation both ways. The human participant was asked to think of someone in the popular consciousness, fictional or no, and cogitate on their image, personality, face if possible, voice if possible, etc. Our participant chose Jesus of Nazareth, and with weekly repeated exposures to the participant's imaging's propagation number 21, began forming what resembled an anthropoid Nazarene in the fold of its spines. Previous human-oriented tests have always bore out a result that Whiskers would form an anthropoid team member, be it me or Dr. Hart or Gerald, and we assumed it was merely mimicking one of us. Dr. Hart has always contended the desirous yield or the anthropoid reproduction Whiskers creates when in contact with human beings has always been based on the conception in relation to the person through someone else. With this framework, the desirous yield is not exactly a replica of a person, or if it is only a replica of the fiction of a person generated in the mind of another. This desirous yield was not Jesus Christ, but the participant's image of Jesus assembled from the religious upbringing, religious artwork, depictions in popular culture, etc. This radiograph was taken right before the destruction of the growth cycle, while Whiskers was rendered unconscious via fumigation. It seems like with every successive propagation, the stem cells in the organism work a little faster, but I'm not paranoid. It's technically deathless, yes, but we're burning up whatever knowledge it's gained when we incinerate it. I don't believe in magic just yet. I don't know about that. What is this? Term at 6 days. We've taken to calling it Whiskers, though of course some have interpreted it as hair or needles or quills, but Whiskers is more accurate as the needles are really more like suprasensory follicles or spines. The nerve nets distributed throughout the morphology of these spines resemble those of genus Hydra, but have melons sheaths that are functionally the same as vertebrae. As we can see in the X-ray, each spine is laden with dense optical arrangements similar to compound eyes. The Hydra connection is assuredly worth investigating with regard to the organism's capacity for regeneration and anecdotal deathlessness. It's certain is a robust enough creature to... it certainly is a robust enough creature to inspire marvel that is not untinged with fear. The hell is that? Exposure to mammalian forms, part of a series of zoomorphic influences, led to further understanding of the propagation's ability to simulate the somatic stem cells that constitute fully developed animals. I write stimulate is the previous statement because examining the tissue of each propagation leads me to believe its amazing capacity for alteration growth of vastly different forms comes from its cell-level mutability, and yet at no time does it function as the thing it becomes except in the sense that it mimics it. That is to say, when Whiskers is removed from dormancy and replicates a rabbit's morphology, it is not seeing from the rabbit's eyes nor smelling from the rabbit's nose, but pretending that it does and doing a very good job of it. Doing a damn good job. The hell's that now? Growth? This radiograph was taken at or around growth cycle number 4. The strange thing about it was that the subject of the image was found nowhere near the enclosure. It's almost like a piece of Whiskers fell off and scurried into the corner. I feel that we've learned a lot since then, but at the same time I remember speaking about the morphology being weird, not really even resembling any extant zoomorphic structure, besides maybe a cuttlefish, and I happened to open the thing up. Inside were all these little dead amoeba-like things, but they all sort of looked like they had faces that were just barely there. After I took the radiograph, I gathered it up and went to go throw it into the biohazard bin. As I walked by the bars of the enclosure, I could hear Whiskers suddenly going wild, flopping around and grunting excitedly. Could it have smelled the cuttlefish thing? Would it eat its own production? I guess it's technically flesh. This is beyond the scope of the project, but it could be that without the stimulus of an active brain, or more specifically a healthy and active brain capable of face recognition and theory of mind, Whiskers begins to pull whatever it can from limited data available to it. Again, this is not our focus at this time, but I left a note for Dr. Hart just in case he wanted to take a look. This is reminding me of the other game. The one with the meat plants. The gay romance meat plants game. We did that, so we got everything in the basement, we got everything in the study corner. Time to go to the kitchen. Lettuce. It looks edible. That's it. Brown banana. Prepare food. Soft fruit or vegetable. Banana. Unappealing item. Why do I have to give him an unappealing item for? Ugh. I'll use the battery, because that sounds more appealing than fiberglass with a banana. Concealed. The battery is concealed in the browning banana flesh. What happened to my blueberry? How come I couldn't use my other stuff? I wanted to prepare him a beautiful meal of blueberries, cashews, lettuce, and banana. And it wouldn't even let me do that. The hell? Guess Grandpa gets to have a banana and a battery. Observe Grandpa. You examine Grandpa, noting its movements, respiration, and general mood. Grandpa seems sort of sluggish and bored. You get the feeling it may be more content and readily cooperative once fed and taught a word or two. Okay, food time, Grandpa. This brief tutorial will go over the basics of feeding Grandpa. Via induction of your unprotected insula, Grandpa has stimulated the production of tooth enamel to mimic a human mouth. It will need to be fed through this in order to properly learn and grow. First, you will need to select an item from the lunchbox. Click on the lunchbox in the bottom right corner. The contents of the lunchbox will be displayed. Nice food, bad food. Select an item from the lunchbox. Doing so will fill your hand with this item. Note that any food can be put back into the lunchbox by clicking on the lunchbox with a full hand. Before Grandpa can be fed, it must judge the food by smell. However, your hand above Grandpa's olfactory bulbs however. If Grandpa is pleased, he will allow you to feed it. Most foods Grandpa will accept, however, getting Grandpa to consume other things requires some culinary deception. I just wasted my banana then! When Grandpa is willing to be fed, hover your hand over its mouth and click. Grandpa will then consume the food. I'm so sorry, Grandpa. Good luck on feeding Grandpa. Oh, I'm so mad. Oh. Hello, Grandpa. You look so handsome! You approach Grandpa. Click on Grandpa's nostrils. If Grandpa is enticed by the smell, click on Grandpa's mouth to feed. Grandpa, would you like... Fuck, I don't know where your nose is. Where's your nose, Grandpa? Left of mouth with a handful of food. Yum, yum, yum! The meal appears to have been sufficient. But would you like... some cashews, Grandfather? Seems indifferent, but we'll accept it. About some lettuce? Eat that. Actually, you know what? Also have the cashews. You know what? You're a little bitch, Grandpa. I'm so upset right now. I could have just gave him banana. Grunts and appreciates and locomotes toward its favorite corner. I'm not giving him a battery. You eat trash. Thank God I had 2 things that were acceptable to eat. It's time to learn words, Grandfather. Let's teach you how to say hello. To go over pronunciation and vocalization. The vocabulary word you pick will appear in the top left corner. In the bottom right corner will be a pentagon that is divided up in 8 sections. A section of the pentagon will be highlighted briefly. A notification sound will play and soon another section will be highlighted. You will control a small round icon that sits above the pentagon by using your mouse. The ball is constrained to the limits of the pentagon. The goal is to keep your icon over the highlighted area and move it as the area changes sections around the pentagon. When you hold left click above the correct highlight area, the icon will start to vibrate along with the stimulated vocal cords, and current letter of your word will begin to turn red. Keep holding over the highlighted section and adjust your icon as it changes place. Soon the letter will become fully red. After every letter becomes red, Grandpa will proudly pronounce the word to you and it will be considered learned. Teaching Grandpa these words will accelerate its cognitive development and lead to further breakthroughs in general intelligence. You approach the window. What? Hold on, I don't... Yo, this is hard. What the fuck? Deep within Grandpa's strangest memories, phoning confidently. Having completed a lesson, you take a look at the back of the vocabulary module card and the notes there written by administrators of the past. Hello, part of vocabulary and vocalization module A2 conversational basics. General pronunciation, comment, sloppy articulation. Module, comments, see below. We are already encountering some difficulties as Whiskers subjectively is so much determined by a diverse and dynamic array of influences. It appears to mimic the thoughts and desires it passively intercepts, and these imitations go on to structure the basis of his identity. Only later in Whiskers' growth cycle does it begin to form an identity or identities that are coherent and capable of resembling a sane, rational human being when engaged in conversation. One must imagine how hard it would be to converse with someone who is not yet oriented in one particular way toward who or how they are, because they might have 20 different honest answers to those questions, all of them mixed and muddled together. Because of this, we have started with the basics of conversation, greeting, partings, identifying one another, forming questions, etc. It is fortunate Whiskers' current growth, number 19 I believe, has developed a mostly accurate human mouth simulation. Hello was a bit of a challenge in the previous growth as it had failed to develop an adequate organ to act as a human tongue. Step away from the bars and store the module card. Wait, we got one more word, Grandpa, damn. Sorry, that's not what I wanted. Makes a plaintive whine, clearly disappointed. I'm so sorry, Grandpa, that's not what I meant to do. Approach. Why does it do that? It's so crazy. I hate this. You did it, Grandpa. General pronunciation comments. Usual trouble with articulation, voice thin, raspy, possible underdeveloped larynx. We have done several sessions of what we are calling familial relation simulation. I and a co-researcher sit in chairs opposite the enclosure. We are wearing the usual masks and begin to act out a scene mostly through improvisation. It might roughly resemble a kitchen table conversation between an immediate family. Repeated trials would reveal, although our simulated conversation was purposefully vague and unspecific regarding persons and identities, we would only address each other as brother, father, sister, etc. It soon became apparent the encoded information and associations we unconsciously drawn upon when hearing and speaking these words was being picked up on by Whiskers and its psi-type field of reception / interpretation of brain/mind event / somatic content. My co-researcher, Willam, noticed this in a simulation where Whiskers was given a role as a sister and he as a brother. I was a father. Whiskers began responding to certain prompts with unusual specificity, as well as general pattern and timbre of speech that continued with unusual consistency. As soon as the simulation ended and we left the enclosure area, Willam let me know that Whiskers was almost certainly drawing from encoded memories of his late sister. Mapping out exactly what regions and centers of neural activity are intercepted by the psi-type field will take extensive neuroimaging that we do not have at this site. Currently, we only have less precise portable equipment. However, our experiences so far are eerily in line with folk legend, folk knowledge, and folk explanation regarding the being's access to desires, and we can begin to infer it has access to certain portions of the limbic system and the ventral temporal cortex. Science words. Okay, we're done. I don't have anything sharp, and I don't have a light at the moment. I guess we end the week because we're done. Weekly summary. Food acquired: blueberry, fiberglass, battery, cashew, lettuce, banana, concealed battery. Documents acquired: a lot. Wait, did we read the shell note? I don't even remember. Knowledge you acquired this week has given you access to a new conversation topic to discuss with Grandpa. Oh, shit. Oh, I forgot to talk with him. It's a good thing I saved. Okay, go to Grandpa. Observe. You examine Grandpa, noting his movements, respiration, and general mood. Grandpa appears content and ready to cooperate. Awesome. Let's talk. Let's communicate. Yeah. Grandpa accedes to your request. It approaches the bars and begins to unknit its skin. Lovely. The inner grandpa, though still not fully formed, is revealed. May be fruitful to speak with it if it can respond. Yo, that's a... There's a little fetus! About wish. With a great deal of effort, Grandpa gurgles fragmented thoughts through its ill-formed lips. Mother, will Father, new lives out of the air. The dark spiny filaments that make up the majority of Grandpa's body begin to oscillate rapidly. The air behind your eyes, I can taste it. Ew, okay. About your shell. With a great deal of effort, Grandpa gurgles fragmented thoughts. Skin, my body, all human skin around me. Give more, grow more to fit. Okay, Grandpa. Biohazard bin. However, it fails to produce more than a wet and frustrated sputtering noise. That's okay, Grandpa. You're a funny little fetus baby. Silently ascends back into its shell. Okay, now we're done. Language. Mrs. Richards approached me the other day in order to remark on Adrian's development. She noted how much more at ease she appeared when called upon in class, or when asked to participate in group exercises. I told her I had seen this change happening as well, and that as much as I would like to take credit for it, it can only guess dimly at what might be reshaping her attitude. Mrs. Richards posited that it was perhaps Adrian's family moving into their grandfather's property that caused the change. It apparently is out in the country, in a wooded area full of wide open space, far from the bustle and noise of the city. The grandfather, Dr. Jacob Hart, had jointly purchased the land with the university he was employed with and began constructing what he was intending to be a satellite campus for a burgeoning psychological anthropology program he had a hand in establishing. Only one building ever ended up being constructed after Dr. Hart died in a car accident when driving back from the property one day. Eerily, at almost the exact same time, a grad student who was assisting Dr. Hart on some sort of project at the property vanished without a trace. The property sat in disuse for years as it was tied up in legal battles between Dr. Hart's next of kin, the university, the vanished grad student's family, and the other students Dr. Hart was working with. Eventually, the case was settled out of court. Only recently did the property fall into the possession of Adrian's mother. Oh, you dumb bitch. Obviously, I was not going to relay this whole tragic story to Adrian, who for all I know believes her grandfather to still be living in the basement of his home. Besides, I thought she might already know all of this. Perhaps the elaborate story she was constructing was her own way of escaping the morbid details of a life, or perhaps lives, cut short by the cruel force of fate and the cynical adults who squabbled in the aftermath. I determined perhaps the storytelling she was and continues. Oh my god, I literally just remembered I should have used the code on the safe that we saw earlier. I determined perhaps the storytelling she was and continues to engage in should not be encouraged by me, at least not in the way I went about it before, where I made active inquiries in her strange fantasy of a semi-sentient ball of skin. When I saw Adrian, I did not bring up her grandpa or ask questions about his growth. Adrian could not stop talking about it, however. I had no choice but to weather her bizarre and enthusiastic effusions about her new best friend. Adrian, maybe we can talk about something else. I'm not sure I'm following you exactly. He's gotten so big. He has so many whiskers that come out and I can see them move around when I think about him. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm so happy Grandpa is back. He's so much cooler than Mom and Dad. Once again, for what it's worth, I have put down the story she told me as best as I could. Adrian once again told me about growing her grandpa. She once again told me about the funky little basement. Big stinky basement. Actually, I want to go check the cabinet first. What was it? The bottom drawer? Oh, this one needs a key. Oh, nothing. What? Nothing. Ooh, potato. Knife. Yeah, another pulsing sac grows in this corner of the basement. It seems like it could be easily opened with a sharp edge. Indecision. But no food. Oh, another bulbous growth. Oh, kiwi! Hell yeah! Oh, Grandpa's gonna eat so good. I don't know who's throwing all this delicious stuff on the ground. Damn it, nothing. Oh, I'm so upset about that banana. What a waste. Seriously? Damn it. Strawberry. Pear. I mean, like, technically, the unappealing item would be cashews, you know? Oh my god, 3 acceptable items. That banana. It was wasted. Wait, did I check the upper fridge? I did. My parents are not feeding me. Can't be that picky, Grandpa. One more. Nice. And then 2 words. General pronunciation comments none. At week 3 of growth, number 24 Whiskers appear to recall some information from a previous growth cycle. We cannot be sure, but that this is really the case. For all we know, what we interpreted as recollecting this information was really a drawing semantic content from one of our recollections of it and redeploying it without rationality or contextualization. For the sake of our safety and for the sake of scientific inquiry, we are attempting to draw out from Whiskers whether it somehow retains knowledge from previous cycles in its morpholactic nucleus. We did not think it was possible the nucleus, though complex and incredible in its regenerative abilities, was capable of this, and that the nerve network that grew from it made up the basis of Whiskers' mind. And so we are now attempting to ask Whiskers, as best we can, if it has ever died or what it might remember if it did. That's concerning, considering. Articulation problems, possible trouble with diphthongs. We are introducing the latest growth of Whiskers to more subtle social cues and testing his ability to judge mental states of participants in conversation. The semantic content that flows to Whiskers via its psi field is still becoming muddled and slipped without distinction into conversation, and though our intention of instilling in it a solid theory of mind, or perhaps make it begin to understand that we do not know what it knows or know what we are without our control sending to it. One would think a theory of mind seems to develop as part of its maturation process. In order to hunt sapient beings, it must be able to deceive them. In order to deceive it, it must be able to make a certain metacognitive judgments. For example, if their deception appears to be working or how one ought to be deceived. Wait, what the hell is this thing used for again? I remember it said something at the end of scapegoat, but I think the scapegoat part was like, well, it's so dangerous, we might as well do this. But I don't remember what the original reason it was used for. Or like why. I guess it's just like, I don't know. I guess like human intention for necromancy is certainly like, oh, this person that I love so dearly, I want to bring them back. And to do so, I decide to use this freaky ass demon thing to regrow them. A mimic of what they used to be. We may never see it develop a theory of mind anytime soon, as Dr. Hart has disallowed a cycle of Whiskers' growth to live into the beginnings of maturity. Content and ready to cooperate. See how big you got, Grandpa? Well, look at you. You're almost a human. Still struggles somewhat to speak due to underdeveloped tongue, mouth, and jaw, however it managed to rasp out an answer. Hunger is not enough on the walls of the cave. The Akrok can. Be hunger transformed, desire is fulfilled by pain. Your grandpa doesn't have the right words. Right now I can only say I love you. Aw, Grandpa, I love you too. Love is not enough though, desire is not enough. Project it outwards, make it true to yourself, if only in symbol, then it will be enough. For me and for you. Okay, Grandpa. That was a lot of big words I didn't understand. Something to grow in. My skin is not the doll's skin. My skin is not like your skin either. I can still feel your eyes on me inside my shell. I have many eyes to see, but I don't need them as much as I need your eyes with which I can understand seeing me. There is a cycle of attention you give me myself, but I am still not that. Slowly I form a human shape and you see me more as human and I become that. You're so funny, Grandpa, the way you talk. They kept putting me in a box, sleeping and then set a light and then in a box in the corner in the darkness. How did the scientist not figure this out? He does fucking remember. Most of you couldn't read then. The scribe came and wrote what everyone said. They wrote on strips of bark with thin reeds. No, it was not that. It was a paper posted somewhere. It had words to open the box. I was half dead in the box. The part of me that dies was put there for a long time. Part of me and the other things they threw in a refuse pile, papers they discarded. He made funny noise. Grandpa's old. My lives were easier before I made myself to speak and before you made clothes to wear and rules to obey. Your grandpa remembers. I have learned much in many lives and deaths. Keep speaking with me. I love talking with you and learning from you, and it helps your grandpa so much. Yeah, that's what a demon would say, Grandpa. You're lucky that I love you. Soon I will be everything you would like me to be. Goodbye, Grandpa. Grandpa, would you like some glue? Well, that's it for today, Grandpa. Right? Wait. First, I will recheck. Just to be sure. I already checked the trash pile. I can't access this. I don't know what the other thing is for. I have a thingy. I'm going to relook into the study real quick. Though I don't remember what note it was. Shift through the ashes and place substantial remains in the biohazard bin in the room outside of the enclosure area. The bin is locked for safety purposes. Okay, so that's what that is. It must be in the dark area, probably. Potato, kiwi, strawberry, pear. Documents. I haven't gotten anything sharp or light. Time I have to spend compiling an evaluation on Adrian is almost up, and I still can't say what to make of her changes in mood. It is of course the case that children of Adrian's age are nowhere near finished learning and growing. I may have to simply be happy that Adrian was able to improve her attitude. However, something in the odd and occasionally grotesque stories she continues to bring up to me still strike me as meaningful. How has your week been, Adrian? Grandpa's almost ready. He's almost finished. Well, sort of. Ah. He's almost as big as his child now. He has a face and he can talk pretty well and almost has legs. I see. As before, I have put down the story she told me as best as I could. Once again, Adrian told me about growing her grandpa. Am I gonna get a light yet? I would very much like a light. Oh my god, there's another bulbous growth here. Can't access this yet. Meaning. Flatbread. Simple. Is that soap or meat? Bar soap. Jackfruit. Apple. God damn it. I clean it and yet nothing. Grandpa's so picky. Oh. This is very unnerving. Meaning. No comments. We further delve into abstraction with Whiskers, partially or perhaps for the most part for the purpose of determining the origin of its recollections that precede its death. Dr. Hart has begun to theorize that in the process of death, the structure of Whiskers is compressed back into the morpholactic nucleus, and then later, upon re-establishing the nerve netting that is laced through its spines, is slowly reassembled and redeployed as needed. I do not think this is the case, for I can plainly see that for growth cycles in which Whiskers is not receiving our pronunciation and vocabulary lessons, that its capacity general for comprehending its environment is greatly diminished, and in the stimulated conversations we carry out, Whiskers struggles greatly or else does not participate. In any case, we will press on with our lessons and heed Dr. Hart's caution regarding terminating the growth cycle before Whiskers' allotted growth time passes, or if it appears to be becoming just a little too competent at appearing human. I don't really get it, I'm gonna be honest. There is nothing. There appears to be nothing rich in here, or if there was, it was thoroughly erased. Grandma seems fatigued and almost anemic. Some of its spines appear brittle. Perhaps it would be more cooperative if fed an iron-rich meal like meat. No, Grandpa. I read those notes and it said no flesh for you. You only get vegetables and fruit. Oops, I did not mean to click that one again. No response. Grandpa, I could give you some glue if you want. Grandpa, you're not allowed to eat any meat. Also, Grandpa, the only thing I have right now is fiberglass, a battery, and a banana, cashews that you did not want, a potato, bar soap, and a jackfruit. Everything is utter shit because my parents aren't buying any fucking food, so sucks. I think that's it, cause Grandpa, he too hungry. Grandpa's gonna perish, is gonna turn into a raisin because I won't feed him meat. Could that be? Come in. Ah, Adrian, good to see you. Aren't you a little early? No matter, I suppose I have some time now. How have you been? How is your grandpa doing? That's why I wanted to talk to you. Something happened. Oh, what happened? Nothing bad, I hope. He escaped? No, nothing bad, just different, I think. Maybe even good. Well, I'll tell you about it. Well, last night something woke me up. There was this noise at first. It was like it came from the walls. I could hear it from my bedroom, but there was something else. Something calling. I could hear it just barely. I was afraid somehow Grandpa hurt himself. I had to go find out. Grandpa ate my parents. The grate was open and Grandpa ate my parents. I went downstairs and the vent, the place where I first found Grandpa, or what I grew him with, it was open. Do you remember how I told you about the vent in the ceiling behind the bars? I was thinking he had climbed up into it. He had gotten so big he could have done that. Maybe he had gotten trapped somehow in the vent. I had to go see. Aw, man, I don't want to go see. Grandpa can stay in the vent. I got inside. I heard the calling again more clearly this time. Grandpa was definitely in the vent somewhere. I could feel him hearing my thoughts. I got that weird feeling, a sense in the air. I had to go forward. I don't want to see Grandpa. He's gonna be all weird. As I moved in closer, the vent had stuff in it. The kind of slimy, hairy stuff Grandpa would leave around a lot. He was definitely close. Something was there at the end. But it wasn't Grandpa. It looked maybe like he had made it through. It was slumped in the corner, had a weird mouth, and... You're not my grandpa! Terminated! It had its lungs on the outside and drew in just enough air to call out. And then it just stopped. Stopped breathing. And then something was hanging over me. And then I woke up in my bed. Oh my god. Oh my god, Grandpa ate Adrian, and this isn't even Adrian anymore, this is Grandpa. As a mimic. In your bed? Adrian, sounds like it was just quite a dreadful dream. Are you alright, by the way? Your face is twitching like you're about to have a violent sneeze. Oh my god, we're gonna be eaten. Oh, you know what, Adrian? Can you, like, chill out for a little bit? I gotta go pee-pees. I'll be right back. And then I close the door, and I lock it, and I call whoever could deal with this, or I do it myself. I will take one for the team, for humanity, and I will burn this child to the ground. Cause that's not a child, that's Grandpa. That's Grandpa pretending to be a child. Grandpa was hungry. He got no meat whatsoever. All we had was fruit and soap. I'm fine, it's just Grandpa. You see, it took me a little while to figure out, but later when I was brushing my teeth, I saw one of Grandpa's whiskers poking just out of the space under my eye. And I started to remember how in the vent he hid inside of me. It was so fast I could barely remember, but soon I started to feel him sliding around in my head. Behind my forehead and behind my eyes and nose. It doesn't hurt at all, it's just ticklish. He's tickling my brain. I'm glad I can be with him. Oh, I can feel him now. Oh my god, I gotta take a shit right now. If you hear the door click, that's just normal. The door just clicks, you know, when you open and close it, it just has a little mechanism, it clicks. It's not like locking or anything. It's fine. I reach under my desk and I pull out a gun. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I can't do this, Adrian. I think he wants to meet you. Part of him is moving down my arm. Oh. I'm starting to get worried, Adrian. You really should not be twitching like this. I should walk you to the nurse's office. Come on, let's go. I grip the pistol in my desk really tight. You should really meet him. I've told you so much about him. Here. What are you doing? Adrian, you're starting to look ill. Please just wait. Just stay still. He's gathering, waiting at my fingertips. Oh god, Adrian! Why do you look like that? You don't have to be afraid. Look. I'm gonna feed him batteries now. There are two endings in Growing My Grandpa. You got the failure of fulfillment ending. Aw, man. Wait, where do you get a light? Yummy battery. With a sudden lurch, Grandpa empties its stomach onto the floor. Ew. The contents pulled together in front of the cage. That's super nasty, Grandpa. Anyways, you want some blueberries? Grandpa recently emptied his stomach. Where do I get that? Examine stomach contents. Whoa, what the fuck? I got a key? You had that the whole time? Where'd you even get that? You son of a bitch, you were hiding it the whole time. I'll give you your other food stuff later. You tried the safe lock with the key you found. Pops open. Have a picture. Photo of your mother as a young woman. The recognition of this face kicks off a cascade of emotion and meaning deep within your psyche. What? I can't grab any of this other stuff? That's whack. It's pretty whack. Okay, I'm gonna give you your other food stuff, Grandpa. And some lettuce, because you don't like cashews. I still can't believe I gave Grandpa the good stuff and he ate me. Do you like potato or peach? Pear, sorry. He doesn't care for either of them, okay. I will give you strawberry. Some fiberglass and a potato. That's disgusting. I'll give you the rest of your food after I look at your fucking throw up. Scissors? What do I do with scissors? Oh! Bulbous growth. Carefully make an incision into the growth with your smithers. It's now possible to take a look inside. Well, let me look at it. You peer into the small opening. In the oily cavity, a powerful smell of rot arises, and many small, increate beings lay motionless and dead. However, you just barely hear the near silent slithering of something, or maybe it's just your imagination. Into the trash you go. All the things I can barely see. So very squishy, and I'm not wearing gloves. Oh, ew. What the hell is that? Anthropoid remnant, too. A self-sufficient animal form knit together from years of ambient thoughts left to crawl around the basement. Grandpa may enjoy the flesh. The flesh! Little friends. Do I give it to him now? Where's my flashlight? Is it in Grandpa too? Ew, another one. It's like a funky little baby. May enjoy the flesh. I don't know if I'm supposed to give it to him now, though. Grandpa, you need vitamin C? God, I can never find your nostrils. I don't know if I'm supposed to give you flesh right now, though, Grandpa. Wait, I gotta save. I'm going to attempt to feed you this anthropoid, Grandpa. The meal appears to have been particularly well received. You're offering a flesh or something within Grandpa. From within the folds of his body, a wiry proboscis-like appendage begins to emerge. It may be worth taking a look at this after the feeding. Knowledge you have recently acquired has given you access to a new conversation. Proboscis. Well, that's enough food for you, Grandpa. You motion to Grandpa to approach and point to the thin protuberance. Grandpa silently ambles closer to the bars and fully extended towards you. Ew. A minuscule needle extends from its tip. There appears to be one more thing you must give, if only for the sake of propriety. Want some glue? Forgot about this. You want this picture of my mom? Grandpa retracts his proboscis as he steps away from the bars. You want this? Doesn't appear to be interested. Okay, it's time for lessons. The little ones, they grew like seeds off my skin, worms fall off my body. Thoughts falling off of me, dreams put there by others. When I was under the ground, I made only very few. Shepherds walked through the grave, and I saw them lusting for their wives, and my skin made their loving faces. I called them out into the darkness with their love voices. One by one, I took their shapes and their skin and blood. That was a time ago, before stone buildings, before the order of angels and words and symbols. That's fucking weird, Grandpa. So you're telling me you seduced these people? It's like a succubus, except instead of taking semen, you took their flesh and blood. Vampire. I'm sorry, Grandpa's thinking, but there's a little left over from the others too. I'm still so hungry for flesh. Part of me is I would even eat one of them that fell off of me. I can't help it, they grow off of me, they fall off and grow in the dark, grow around me. Yes, that is a part like a tongue. I was lost in the mountains and so thirsty. I was walking in a hill and found a lamb and drank from it with my tongue, and I fell asleep for a long time. I woke up as a half-formed child. I had died before. My grieving mother had remade me. We had made a contract and she completed it. I do not remember more. Ah, demon contracts. I know of those. Back into your shell you go. I think that's everything. I can't wait to get my flashlight. I didn't even mean to do that. To open it up. I forgot that one of these comes here. Oh god, that scared me. Should probably give all of the fleshy things to Grandpa, but he needs to give me my flashlight first. My flashlight, finally! Oh, the waste bin. Move the heavy lid off. Photo of your father as a young man. What? The recognition of this face kicks off a cascade of emotion. Huh? On the virtue of the prudent when dealing with devils, seen or unseen, the splendors and terrors of God's creations inhabit the world of both seen and unseen, and just as one will not grapple with the lion, lest he be a fool, one will not approach a being of the mind or aether without foreknowledge. Therefore, there are beings with no form hiding between towering columns of air, only appearing by slipping into the heart of mind of evil and unclean men. But still are there more beings which straddle the realm between the seen and unseen creatures, feeling through the air to see the heart or mind of men. It is only by God's grace and his angels and servants crushing these beings under heel that a magician might compel them to the magician's will, and so a magician must be perfectly clear and unerring in intent, and ritual granted to us by God, or else the devil, seen or unseen, will devour them, that being their nature. On the nourishing of devils of a particular type, certain devils of a particular nature are nourished by the element of fire, others by attention and prayer given to their idols, still others by stranger and more obscure means. By God's grace, the requirement for nourishing a devil as part of a contract only requires a token of these givings, that is, a symbol. If a devil hungers after flesh and would strip a man to his bones in its devouring, the devil's hunger and nature which thirsts for flesh can be held in abeyance in the ritual act of giving blood in only a few drops. However, the contract must be completed in full, for if the magician errs and does not provide in the devil instruction and guidance, the devil, once abjured to do no harm upon the magician, will return to its devouring nature. Ooh, another one. Wait, glue. I don't think that, I don't know. I guess Dad was kind of a rocker. But Dad looks like Mom, to be honest. I'm gonna save the pear for the next time I need anything else. Oh, Grandpa. Why are you so close? Oh yeah, I'm supposed to give Grandpa all of the anthropomorphic thingy. Eat. Eat, Grandfather. Eat the flesh. Stir something within Grandpa from within the folds of its body. Another proboscis arises. It may be worth taking a look after feeding. And then another one. Oh. Okay. So you get to get a jackfruit. And then some flatbread. And then a mushroom. Oh, too full. You only have one proboscis. Oh, are you gonna drink my blood? Wait, hold on. Can I touch? Ugh. Grandpa has appreciated your blood offering and will receive a symbol or totem from me now, though only one per offering. Oh shit. As the blood-fed proboscis retracts back into the folds of fabric, you step away from the bars. I didn't do it the first time. I didn't realize. Spines quickly reach out and envelop the doll before drawing back. The doll quickly vanishes within the folds of Grandpa's skin. Constructing and then offering your mother's image to Grandpa, symbolically sated by blood, instills in you a concrete sense of completion. Grandpa gives a soft, affirming grunt as it senses deep within your mind the ritual transformation of your desire. Though Grandpa must receive both a mother and father totem before the fulfillment of your wish is assured. Oh, Grandpa! I fucked up! Oh, whoa, what the fuck? Oh yeah, we didn't. Where'd you get the glasses? We didn't talk to him because he didn't feel like it the last time. Grandpa loudly clears his throat before gently responding in a lucid, well-projected voice. Oh, you're asking me about your wish. When you wished for me to come back, that's when I knew I would. Your desperation was strong in your wish for your parents. Well, if you give me what I want, I'll give you what you want. You know I love you. I am for you whatever you want, and I love you just as much as you love me. Yeah, sure thing, Grandpa. That's what a demon would say. But desperation and love is not enough. People deep down know they can't get what they wish for without some transformation. There's something that sits at the root of everyone's soul that understands separation between them in eternity. You may desire something, but you know you will not get it without some movement on your part. Yeah, that's what a demon would say. So it is not enough to just wish, which you know will not work. You must wish and a little more to transform your intention into something that might fructify, or for desire to become reality. Oh, you're asking me about my shell. Oh, well, you see, I like to have something to grow in, something shaped like a person. It just helps to have something surrounding me when I don't have skin. My whiskers do the growing. My whiskers, yes, you know, the hairy little things. I'm a part of it and it is a part of me. However, my whiskers are what heard you wishing for me to come back, and so they went to work in the shell you provided. The shell also helps you envision me as what you desire. You have such a nice imagination. If I weren't in my shell, you'd have my whiskers exposed and knitting together my face. Not very nice to see. That might interrupt the feedback loop of my reading your desires. All you would see is the nasty creation of me, and you would be upset about it, and, well, I can't work with that. And then acting upon the desires I have read, and then once again reading your reaction, we wouldn't want that interfered with. The material of the doll you put down is a good fit. It's not the most comfortable, but it's quite flexible, and thankfully my shell was able to adjust nicely to my growth. Oh, you're asking about the medical waste bin. I believe it's locked up. I heard them punch in the code many times as they placed part of burnt-up dying self into the bin. They often forgot what the code was and had to go check on the wall where they were always taping up sheets upon sheets of information. So much so that the new papers would cover the old. What do you think you would find in there? Well, perhaps something they did throw trash inside from time to time, bits and paper and so forth. I remember seeing a man who looked quite like me. His daughter had given him a photo of a new boyfriend. He threw it in the bin in disgust and joked with one of his colleagues. It may still be in there for all I know. You're really good at talking, Grandpa. Oh, you're asking about language. Well, the more you taught me, the more I was able to learn myself by hearing what you were thinking and saying. A week ago I could speak a little bit, but I was less of what you imagined me to be and not quite the talker I am at the moment. Part of what I am saying is, of course, made up of what you expect me to say. I think I am very comfortable being open and honest with you because I am your grandpa. And I love you, and certainly that makes up part of what I am. God, stop love-bombing me, Grandpa, jeez. However, there's a part of me deeper down. The thing that created me may be that undying nucleus. It is answering for me as well, and is unaffected by whoever might shape what I become with their thoughts. Oh, you're asking about my little friends. Well, yes, they come from me. They grow around me in pockets of flesh and protoplasm. Think of them like dreams, maybe. I'll explain. Have you ever had a dream that was sort of like a bunch of people, places, and events you experience all mixed together and jumbled up? It's a sorting through and disposing of the refuse of the mind. My little friends are like that refuse, and in ridding myself of them, I am casting off the excess material I did not use in developing life forms. Anyone who comes close to me, well, they are my eyes, my nose, my skin. Their thoughts become mine and shape what I make. However, when I'm alone for so long, I didn't have a lot of people near me. What are you thinking, expecting me is shaping what I'm saying? How I'm saying it, do you understand? And so because I did not have enough input from my surroundings in order to put the material to use, the materials fall off my body, crawl away, and usually die. I'm able to make the most of my material when someone is looking right at me, projecting who I will be like you are now. What you are thinking and expecting of me is shaping what I'm saying. How I'm saying it, do you understand? Well, you're asking me about my proboscis. It is just a little tube I keep to help me feed on blood. You could say it is my real mouth, but it's not really a mouth. It appeared because you fed me flesh, one of those little friends you found, I think. You feeding me flesh was a symbol, a proposition. if you will, that you wanted to hold up your end of the bargain with regards to your wish. If someone is willing to hold up their end of the bargain and let me feed on them with my proboscis, then they can move on to the next step of the agreement, providing me symbolic instructions. Ah, demon contract. I hope that helps clear things up. Oh, you have another question? Very elaborate. Do I like the blood? Well, my whiskers, I believe they like the blood and the flesh. It's strange. They are me, and yet they are now me. Wait, what? What'd you just say, Grandpa? I'm bound to them. They control me, and technically, yes, they did make me. However, you were the one who really grew me. In some ways, those whiskers, they are me, or a part of me, or I am a part of it. That part is much more animal-like. Whatever might happen, know that I will always love you. God, with the love bombing every time. Because it controls me, I might not be able to act how I would like, even if I do love you. Okay, goodbye, Grandpa. Go back in your shell. You creepy little man. God. Week 5. I fucked up. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Because I didn't feed the... God damn it, I'm gonna have to go through this again. Thank you so much for completing the contract. I'll definitely help you out with your parents. Just give me a little time and I'll be ready to act. I think you'll be very happy. Your grandpa's very happy too. You did it all by yourself, you know. I couldn't have helped you if I tried. I would have really not have liked to. Well, I did not want to have to complete the contract. I would have hated that. Yes, sure thing, Grandpa. But do you understand why I would have had to? Maybe you don't. So much of your lives are made up, and yet what comes to pass was always once a fiction. You doubt yourself and your plans before they are even begun, and you believe what it is in front of you as is the essence of things was not something you put there long ago. Too much doubt can suffocate even the surest of things. Only with patience and growth and nurturing does something become what it will be, as you soon shall see. God, I hope this works, because going through this is the 3rd hour. And it's all because I fucked up. I met with Adrian one final time in order to see if I could not reach some sort of resolution regarding her emotional trouble. In these past few weeks, according to the reports of her teachers and peers, she has shown a remarkable transformation in conduct. I would also add my voice to this consensus. It seems as if in our time together, much has changed for the better. I'm not suggesting our meetings were the sole source of her sea change. I think something had happened in her home life that has reoriented Adrian completely. She seems to suggest as much, at least in her usually esoteric way when we last spoke. Something tells me something may have changed with Grandpa. Yes, well, something did change. I will write down her words verbatim here. I went down the stairs like I always did, but I sort of felt like something was different. My parents weren't arguing, and I felt something had changed with Grandpa too. There was a weird noise, but I wasn't afraid. He didn't come through the vent this time. Oh God, Grandpa! Oh God! Why are you naked? Why are you bald and naked? I think Grandpa had to leave, but before he left, he made my parents nice. He reached inside and changed them. That was my wish. Oh, dear Lord. Maybe even what I was growing wasn't really my grandpa. Grandpa left what I was growing behind. It definitely wasn't my grandpa, because every time he said anything, he would love bomb me, and then he would talk about, like, not, like, really being my grandpa, and that he's controlled by something else, and it's just like, you know, if I wasn't being puppeteered, I would do a thing, but I can't. I still love you, though, and it was very confusing. He's gone now. He moved quickly out to I don't know where, but I will always love him. He's gone to eat other people, as says the documents. That's why he was always euthanized at week 4. I dismissed Adrian soon after, letting her know it was a pleasure getting to know her. Despite my apprehensiveness about the speed of the turnaround she has made, I cannot see any reason why Adrian should be considered for further evaluation. And as a counselor for Adrian, let it be known that I believe she is of sound mental and emotional health. I am pleased to see things turn out this way, and if I may make a brief addendum, by happenstance, Mrs. Richardson bumped into the Hart family the other day while running an errand. She told me the parents were a little odd, but very pleasant, and quite clearly they adored their child, and that she had never seen Adrian happier. Adrian looks like she's been stung by a bee. We got the fulfilled contract ending! Yeah, it only took like an extra hour. Anyways, growing my grandpa was a short and pretty straightforward game. Everything that you need to know is told to you in the documents. I'm just gonna briefly go over what grandpa is and a little bit of what I guess I think question. It's not really, I only have like a question for one part of it. But yeah, Grandpa, a demon or some sort of otherworldly entity, also known as the Heaven of Needles or Angel of Needles, is a being once kept by oh my god, I wrote it and I can't even say it. Why is that such a weird word? By shamans or wards who suffer from face blindness. It is a being that seems to rely on others for food to grow with flesh from either human, animal, or itself being the most important ingredient in its growth. It seems to have psychic abilities that probe the memories of its target to gain knowledge on how to mimic a human. This human can either be someone familiar, like a family member, or even a fictional person, as long as there's enough information to put together a face and personality. The entity's abilities are imperfect, which is shown in its physical growth and through its learning despite maintaining previous memories. One of its more mysterious abilities is how it fulfills the contractor's wish. The whole ritual feels so simplistic compared to the nurturing stage of the entity's lifespan, as it only requires a desire. For example, Adrian wanting her parents to be nicer, then a gift of flesh, followed by taking blood through its proboscis from its contractor, and then a symbol, which symbols were all human in nature. From what we know, the desire can only involve human or human-like subjects to either take host or recreate. The ending wasn't entirely clear on what happened. While creating a contract isn't exactly something it pushes for, if the entity isn't nurtured correctly, it will wither and forcefully take a host to find someone else to prey on, which we had example of William's disappearance after being found in the empty cage, and then the ending where, well, the thing is, in the bad ending, it doesn't really show what happens afterward. It just shows that Whiskers comes out from Adrian a little bit, but it doesn't really show if it attacks us. The notes mention that Whiskers hunt sapient beings, and it does mention mimicking the voices of men's wives to lure them. Yet, its behavior is kind of confusing. Does it need to feed on humans? Or is it only luring humans to make contracts? What purpose does this serve for a being that seems to constantly go through rebirth? It's so curious to have something so demonic in nature have an alias that seems holy, but does all of this stuff that isn't exactly holy. Because you don't really hear about angels, like God's angels, making contracts and stuff with people. Reading about how skeptical the scientists were of Whiskers having a memory of its past iterations was kinda odd, considering after terminating each growth cycle, they'd retrieve its nucleus, which would, you'd think it would give some implication of it being able to hold some sort of center of information. Because if you're reusing the nucleus, which, a nucleus is usually like it's a center point of something, then it's just like, well, it has to remember something, especially if it's like constantly reforming in some way, even if it's just like the most base thing. There's also the fact that it can probe into a person's mind to retrieve information on a specific person. Then how could it not be possible for it to find memories of its prior iterations from, all of the scientists that are there? You would think like there has to be some sort of possibility, but I don't know, scientists are scientists. Also, it isn't super weird that it has to relearn things every growth, because with humans, there's some humans that if they might have done something like for years, but if they don't do it for a certain amount of time, I think the synapses or whatever in the brain will like disconnect and they have to relearn it. And then there's the traumas, or there's trauma that some people go through, and then there's dissociative amnesia, where you can't recall like specific skills and stuff like that. So I don't know, part of me is just like, these scientists may be a little bit dumb. This is certainly an example of things scientists do that they should not do, despite having all the evidence to not do the thing. Because it's like one thing that you find a mysterious entity, so you decide to do experiments. It's another thing that it's a mysterious entity and it has all the knowledge that you possibly need pertaining to that entity, and all of it says, please don't do this. This is bad. Keep it in its little jar. But yeah, that was Growing My Grandpa. Aside for me messing up, like, what was it, twice or something, and I had to click my way into finishing it again, and I was just like, please don't mess up again. I'm gonna cry. This is not ideal skippage. So it takes a lot of time and I have to put the trash in the bag, please. But yeah, that's like my only complaint, is because you only get one save, it's annoying when you frick up. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed Growing My Grandpa. Happy Halloween. This is my contribution outside of the 2 things for the Strangeman series. I hope to see you guys in anything else, and I hope you guys have a good day and or a good night. Goodbye. Good night. Sleep tight. I love you. Love bomb, love bomb, love bomb.